Barely 3 years have passed since Alex Kastens' college football career ended, but the former Carroll College center remembers lacing his cleats and popping the pads like it was only yesterday.
I think you think about it every day, honestly, whether you're up there or not. I mean, I know I do, and certainly all my friends that I play with, my teammates do too.
4 years of football, the friendships, the wins and losses, but what Kastens remembers most, at least most vividly, aren't the memories you might expect.
You know, honestly, probably the butt chewings. That's something that we all joke about and all remember. But you know, wish we would have had a better technique on this play, or wish we had a better play here. But you know, ultimately, what you remember is the locker room. You know, and now I'm getting to the point where all my teammates are getting married. You're in their wedding now. You know, guys are having kids, and it's cool to be able to have that bond still. You know, you wish you were still putting pads on every day, but to be able to talk every week. You know, a lot of my guys, my teammates are involved in coaching themselves and still involved in the sport. So, you know, now from a professional standpoint, it becomes talk more about, you know, what techniques you're using, how you're arranging practice. And I'm honestly recruiting some of their kids, too, at some of the schools they're at. So,
hearing Kastens discuss his love for the game and memories from his playing days, yes, even those butt chewings, it's easy to see why he's transitioned to an assistant coach with the Fighting Saints, using that football knowledge to mentor the next crop of Carroll athletes.
It's cool to be able to pass along the things that I learned when I was playing, from a program standpoint and a family standpoint. That's really what that place is about. You know, the weight room was that miniature locker room experiment. You know, it's a miniature game day experiment where you have guys in there competing. It's like game day where, you know, guys are getting after it. Guys are putting it on the line every day. Now that has to go from the room onto the field.
Kastens knows a thing or two about transitioning from the weight room and the practice field onto game day. Former 3-year starting center at Carroll, Kastens' Saints went 22-4 in his final 2 seasons, advancing to the NAIA quarterfinals and semifinals. In fact, his senior year was the last Saints trip to the national playoffs. As a player, he grew accustomed to dominating in the Frontier Conference while also stockpiling wins. That's made the past 3 seasons, each 4-6 campaigns, some new territory for Kastens, the coach.
I think it's extremely challenging, you know, but to be honest with you, it's just as challenging when you're winning 10 games a year too. You know, you still think about those individual plays, and it's a matter of breaking down a game that's saying, hey, one play can change that game. But it could back then just as it could now too. And that's the thing, is that it wasn't like, you know, we were just winning every play back then either. You had to compete every play. You had to contest every play. And we're getting back to the point of, okay, we can play for 3 quarters, but where's the 4th quarter? Wherever that quarter is, not just the end of the game, but whether it's the 2nd quarter of the game, 1st quarter of the game, 1st half of the game, or 2nd half of the game, you know, being able to put together a full 4-quarter game and understanding, though, that when you do have a bad play, you have to move on. As coaches, we're not going to move on, right? But as players, you have to. And you have to continue to evolve and grow and make sure that mistake doesn't happen again.
Few coaches enter each workday with the fire intensity of Kastens, who still looks and sounds like he's in his prime as a player. This spring was his first in his new role, strength and conditioning coach, where interacting with players from every position on the field has given him a newly formed respect for the game.
For me, what's most exciting is seeing guys branch out outside of position groups. You know, we had some position changes obviously this year, moving some of the tight end groups to center and offensive line, offensive tackle, and moving some other guys over. And you see how a running back can go up and cheer a D lineman on in the weight room. You see how a D lineman goes on and cheers on a wide receiver, or a corner and a wide receiver in the same lifting group. And I think that that's also part of that experiment at the weight room is, you know, part of the locker room, right? Everybody is close with their position group, but not everybody is close across team lines, you know, across enemy lines, so to speak, you know, the offense, defense, special teams. And I think that having, you know, that place there to sort of play that thing out and develop leaders and put people, empower them to lead too, not just say, hey, we need leaders, you need to lead, but empowering them, putting them in positions to correct a technique or to correct a lift or to say, hey, put 10 pounds on here, you know, add 15 pounds here, go lower. You know, it's not so much me anymore, but our players saying that. And that's what you want. That's developing leaders and giving them a platform to lead, and then going out in the field and seeing how that plays out.
Spring ball came and has nearly gone for Kastens and Carroll, who scrimmage inside Nelson Stadium in the Saints' annual spring game Saturday. Players won't report again until August, nearly 4 months away, leaving Kastens antsy for those coming summer months.
Having to put the pads away and then get them back out again, I guess. I mean, I'm really excited for this next season, and I think the biggest thing for us is going to be, getting through spring football, finding out what their depth chart looks like, continue to develop those guys on the depth chart, but obviously that depth chart's never going to be full, and continuing to bring along more guys throughout the summer months, depth-wise, whether it's a freshman or a guy that's on the bubble, things like that, continue to bring them along as we head into fall camp.
Richie Melby, MTN Sports.